And this episode is actually about the gaming industry. What up, Nick? It's about the gaming industry, some how it affected my life growing up. I am a avid gamer. I love video games. I love the artistry of it. So we're gonna talk about that. But quick introduction, and then for the new people that will watch this and tune in, I'm gonna let you know a little bit about this podcast, and then we're gonna kick it off. We will not be going long tonight. The national championship is tonight, so I'm not gonna be on here for a long time. So I just want to give a deep dive real quick. But this is gonna be a two-part podcast because I'm trying to do something totally different with this topic, and I will be switching to Zoom by next Monday. The reason I'm switching to Zoom by next Monday is because I want to have the autonomy to bring up guests while I'm going live. And I think the easiest way to do that is to be on Zoom and have it connected to my Facebook. So next week, I will be connecting Zoom to Facebook. I won't be streaming directly through the Facebook platform. There's some pros and cons to this Facebook platform, and right now I'm experiencing all the cons. So it'll be Zoom connected to Facebook, and that would give me the power to say, hey, maybe if you want to come up on stage or join me on this podcast topic, I can just shoot out the Zoom code. That person will hop on Zoom, and they pop up, and we both on stream together, and they can, the audience can hear you, and we go from there. So we can have a conversation and dialogue between each other. So every week, just trying to do a little bit better, get a little bit better at the podcasting, a little bit better equipment, a little bit better lighting, a little bit better cameras, all the little bit betters. We're trying to get better every week. So, real quick, if you have never joined me on this podcast, this is called Built from the Break. My name is Kyle Petties. I'm known as a serial entrepreneur with all the businesses that I have, but I will be downsizing a lot of these businesses in the very near future as I scale back and really just start doing things that I really am passionate about, really love to do. So I'm approaching 40, August 13th, 1986, baby. Big Leo gang, I'll be approaching 40 soon, and this is the reason why I decided to do this blog slash podcast called Built from the Break. The whole break is going through a lot of different turmoil in my life, from traumas to unhealed traumas to relationships to raising kids to approaching 40 to being injured to having mental traumas and mental health issues from the military and before. So just a lot of different things that we experience as men that we don't typically talk about. Being able to have a platform and go on a healing journey with my audience. Therapy. We talked about therapy. I'm going to have more of a therapy topic after I go to therapy. So April 14th is my first session. Let y'all know, hey man, go to therapy. It's okay to go to therapy. So I'm excited about this. April 14th, it'll be my first therapy session. And then we'll talk about it, on the podcast, what I got out of it. Not too deep, but, what I can share. We'll talk about how that's going, how that's looking, that healing journey, that growth. So if you first time joining me, every podcast, I start off with a little bit of rant like I'm doing now, get into some topics, and then we hop off this thing. But I always start off with a prayer before we actually get into the main topics of the podcast. So if you're joining me now, whatever you believe in, I believe in God. So I'm going to say my prayer to Jesus. So just a quick prayer though, man. Father God, we come to you today to ask you for just, again, an amazing podcast. Have a good time with my audience. Dive into an area of my life that I'm passionate about that a lot of people may not know I'm passionate about. But we also want to unravel some layers of how this industry and how this topic has affected people from the good, the bad, and the ugly. So hopefully everyone can take something from this lesson or a little bit of my story and see some of the good and bad to it as well and use that for their own personal growth. With that being said, amen. And we're going to move on to the second piece that I always do on my podcast is prayer and the pour. So the second part is the pour. The prayer is done. So tonight, on tonight's pour, I got three options, y'all. I got three options. I'm not letting y'all choose because I know which one I'm going to choose already. But there's three things I can choose to sip on tonight. I picked up some Woodford Reserve. I don't typically drink soda, but I do got some Coca-Cola. And I really want just some Woodford Reserve and some Coca-Cola with a splash of Coke. That's what I'm going to sip on tonight. But I also bought some Cutwater Russian. Dang, I just forgot the name. Hold on. It is Yeah. So we got White Russian. Cutwater makes this drink called White Russian. Well, White Russian is a drink, but Cutwater has a brand of it now too. So we got White Russian. We got Woodford Reserve and Coke tonight. Or we got Voodoo Rangers. So Voodoo Ranger is a IPA that is currently growing on me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Voodoo Ranger is growing on me. It's not an expensive IPA. I paid $22, I think, for like a 12 pack. I got the mixed packs. I wanted to try the other flavors. I had the sweet IPA last night. It was actually really good. The other IPA is like 9%. It'll get you there. It'll get you there. But tonight, I just want to sip on a little bit of Woodford Reserve with a splash of Coke. So that's what I'm going to make right now real quick. And then we're going to hop into these topics. All right. I already got my cup prepared too because I want to save a little time. And I'm going to pour over here, off stream, until I get my full sponsorships. Coming soon. Little Coca-Cola. I'm not even showing their label. I ain't showing nobody label unless they pay me. I learned that. I ain't showing nobody labels unless they paying me. So y'all gonna know when I'm getting paid when y'all start seeing labels. But I'll show this one. I'll show that label. That's Big Buck. That's Bucky's. It's a nice thermos too. It's a Yukon thermos. It's good. All right, so prayer and pour. Let's get into it. Woo-wee. All right. Yes, sir. All right, so the topic for tonight, as you can see on the screen, are video games bad for people? So this conversation sparked both Trump administrations, honestly. Trump had brought it back up again, and it was around the time where he started saying that he was going to ban video games, or he was talking about getting rid of the video game industry. And us gamers were like, hold on, bro. Now you done gone too far. Now you affecting our livelihood. Now you affecting our peace. Now you affecting our escape. So that's something that we wasn't playing about. We said, hold on, we gotta have a conversation about this before you start talking about taking away video games. So I want to talk about this though for a second because I can see the good, the bad, and the ugly from video games, and I want to kind of dive into that because I want to make sure that people can also see a different side of it. I think a lot of people just see, oh man, you playing violent games, and or parents may say, you know, you playing violent games. There's some games out there though that's wild. I had to say, there's some wild games out there. Hopefully my stream not lagging. I see my screen's kind of doing some weird stuff right now. But one of the things I want to talk about, I want to start off by kind of taking it back, and this is taking it back to childhood. And I was just thinking, I wanted to know for the chat too, like when y'all were growing up, who had the system? Because, you know, kind of growing up, who had the system was a big deal. Like a lot of people were just like, hold on, I think my stream, it ain't crashing, is it? Hold on a second. I just saw everything drop. There we go. My bad. I just saw like all my stats, latency, everything just dropped. But growing up in the hood, man, it was like, man, who had the gaming system? Some parents couldn't afford it for the kids. So, oh, hold on a second. Something is dropping. What is dropping? All right. Maybe I'm tripping. If you're in the chat, let me know if the stream is lagging or if I'm dropping. Maybe it's me. I think I'm good though. All right, we're gonna keep going. I got this recorded too, so worst case, I just throw it up on record. But yeah, I'm so used to seeing things move a different way though, but it started lagging a little bit. I had all three. Okay, so folks had different games. So growing up, when I was growing up, I'll just say it like this: my dad, he was making decent money. I was able to ask for some systems that I wanted, and I was able to get them. So kind of going back a little down memory lane a little bit, I had We did have the Atari. I never really played that. That was like a little too young for that one, but it was in the house. Coming off the Atari, we had the Sega Genesis, we had the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and then of course nowadays PlayStation, Xbox, PC. So just kind of fast forwarding through all the different game systems that we had. Um, I don't remember nothing about the Atari except that we had it in the house. I think the first actual system I played was the regular Nintendo cartridge. And y'all know the cartridge. It was only one way to get them games to work. You blowing spit. You blowing the cartridge, getting the dust. Well, we thought studies showed that that actually did not do anything. And I want to debunk all those studies because it 100% did something. It went from blowing in the cartridge to get your game to work to we used to get the alcohol, the Q-tips, and we used to dip it in rubbing alcohol, and then we used to gently rub it across the cartridge, and then we'll pop it in. And I'm telling you, that rubbing alcohol, it was like a conduit. As soon as you put that rubbing alcohol in there, that game was gonna fire up every single time. We used that for the Nintendo, and we used it for the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. Anything that had the paper little lining to read the game, to get the game to load up, we were using alcohol. So we stopped blowing spit all in the cartridge and started using alcohol. So that got us into the gaming. But I want to share with y'all some games that I played growing up. I'm gonna share with y'all some games I played growing up. I got photos. I got pictures. Y'all know I like having my pictures. So growing up, I was in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Told your dad my grandmother lived right down the street. So this first game I'm gonna put on the screen is old school. Is near and dear to me. And the main reason why it's near and dear to me is because I was actually doing this as a job when I was when I was growing up, when I was real young. So I might have been, I say maybe between the ages of like 8 and 10, around that age frame, maybe 8 to 12 in that age range. And I remember, I think my buddy, I want to say Robert was the first person I seen doing this, and I was like, dang man, he making money at a young age. And remember, I was selling icy cups, so I had the icy cups popping, but we young, so we wanted to do everything. You know, we want to do every business we could do, anything that's gonna put some money in our pocket. We like, let's do it. So I'm gonna pull up this game. This was my first official, I guess you could say, job when I was growing up as a kid. Hold on, my connect streaming software to go live. Why is my stream dropping like crazy tonight? Let me see here. Hold on a sec. I'm just before I pull this up, I'm just trying to make sure because I feel like everything keeps dropping on my end. Turn your device volume up. This was my first official, I guess you could say, job. Okay, it is. I can see I am lagging. I don't know why. Which is wild because we're on a video game. We're talking about video games tonight and I'm lagging. I haven't lagged all day. Let me turn my PlayStation off. Hold on one second. We're going to turn this off for a second. Just in case this is affecting something. I'm not even going to put it in rest mode. I'm going to turn it all the way off. All right. We're resetting some things real quick before I pull this up. 1 second. Come on. All right. There we go. Everything just came back. Maybe it's my PlayStation. I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now, but um, we're gonna keep pushing because I really don't want to re-record all this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the picture up. This was the first. This was the first job I had. This is one of the first jobs I had in Illinois. Paperboy. So this was a pretty dope job though, because like even when I had this job, what I liked about it, it was real simple. Um, so the local newspaper, they would drop off like our whole route. So we have like bundles of papers that would get dropped off at my house, in my dad's front door. And then my job that morning, because my route was always the next day. So let's say if it was a Sunday route, I would get all my papers on Saturday. So I get all my papers on Saturday. I have my houses and all my little addresses of where I got to deliver the papers to. And then I would literally roll the night before all the papers, and I had my rubber bands, and I was just rubber banding all my papers. So the prep work was to get your papers, get them all rolled. That way you're ready to throw them the next day. And it was just like this video game. Like we literally were just riding our bikes. We had the baskets on our bikes. We had our routes. I remember when I first started, before I even got on board with the paper company, I was just following my buddy Robert while he was doing his routes. And I was just riding my bike beside him and seeing what he did. And he used to get off the bike sometimes, stick the paper in the mailbox, or he used to just throw it on the front steps. But that was really it. And then, of course, when weather got bad, they started giving us the plastic. We started putting the paper in plastic and then throwing it. That way, if it rained, it didn't get the paper wet. So that was my first like real like job for real. So the games that I'm going to mention today are also games that I do still feel like I learned something from them, or I had some type of personal connection, or they're just so nostalgic I couldn't take them off the list. Like they had to be on this list. So I'm old school. Most of y'all probably never even seen this game, but Paperboy was a classic. You used to ride. It got to the point where you could hit little ramps. You was throwing newspapers. Every now and then a dog would run out at you. You had to throw a newspaper at the dog, but then you had to be careful not to waste all your papers because you only had so many papers for your route. So you wanted to try to deliver as many papers as possible. But then it had the timing of riding a bike and throwing it to actually make it into the mailbox at the same time. It was pretty dope. It was a dope game. They could never remake this one because nobody will buy it. But for the time period that it was in, Paperboy was dope. It was a good game. So bringing that one down, and I'm going through systems. So that was Nintendo, or this is Nintendo. The next one is OG. It's OG. I can't not put this on the list. I can't just like skip over this game. Like it didn't change everybody's childhood. Mario Brothers. Like this one right here was just, it's like last night we went to the movies to watch Super Mario Galaxy, and just seeing how far this game has come, it's always going to be a part of our childhood. Like Mario Brothers, I told you, every game taught me something. 100%, this game taught me patience. It taught me a lot of patience. I was so locked in on Mario Brothers on trying to complete these levels. I was frustrated. But one thing I kept doing, because we didn't have like back in, like now, man, I'm so glad we could save a game now and just pick up where you left off. We came up in an era where if you didn't complete the assignment, you're starting all the way over the next day. And I don't think kids understand how painful that is from today, where you have a memory card or you have a save card, or now everything's internal. We got terabyte hard drives and everything. So Nick, your son on PC, he probably got a couple terabytes of memory. So it's so cool to just be able to store your save file, pick up where you left off the next day, and just keep it moving. Back, man, our day, when we pulled that game out, it was over. You load up the next day, you're on level 1. Every single time you start. And that's so, just looking back at that, that's so depressing. Yeah, you have to leave the game on and hope that everything went well and the system didn't overheat, just so you can kind of pick up from where you left off the next day. I could, and then when the save cards came out, I was like, thank you, finally. At least we could save our progress. That was like the smartest thing they made. So Mario Brothers is an instant classic, obviously. I can't say enough about the game, but it definitely taught me patience. And that sometimes you just have to have fun at what you're doing, and you may never complete the process. Because I don't think I've ever beat this game. And then I was thinking too, some of these games on this list, we can't even beat them today. I was thinking about it, I was like, man, some of these games, like some of the Ninja Turtle games, they hard as hell. Like you wouldn't even be able to beat those games today. So that's Mario Brothers. Let's go to a different system though. Let's go to a different system. All right, this next game. The reason I put this game on the list is because this game single-handedly brought all my cousins together. This game brought my cousins together. This game is when we started LAN parties. LAN. We started LAN parties. I think it's called LAN. LAN parties. Started connecting TVs and systems together. We used to go to my grandmother's house. We used to be in the attic upstairs. And there used to be 5 to 10 of my cousins. rotating throughout the night, and we would play this game all freaking night. GoldenEye 007. Man, I just smile when I think about this game because when I tell you this game brought me and my cousins together, my favorite character on this game, because we was playing multiplayer. You know, we playing multiplayer. The way we used to do it, whoever had the worst score had to give up the controller. So basically, whoever was in fourth. So we had the split screen. You know, it cut into four squares. We had cousins over there. Stop screen watching. We was talking about screen watching back on 007. Stop looking at my screen. You know where I'm at. But man, we would be up all through the night playing 007. Oh, my favorite character was Odd Job. Odd Job was my favorite character. He was the little man. He was a little person. But dude, I used to slide around on levels with Odd Job. This was one of my favorite games growing up, hands down. So, what did 007 teach me? It taught me that video games can bring people together. 100%. So again, we getting into our video games bad for people. So far, I have no bad experience. Like, we've been having a good time. And this game was violent. Like, we up all night shooting at each other, yelling. And my grandmother's downstairs just like, actually my grandmother, it was pretty cool. She didn't even yell at us. Like every now and then she'd be like, hey, y'all need to quiet down. But my grandmother, I think she really appreciated noise. She had 11 kids. So honestly, I think she just appreciated a noisy house. Because I think in her head, it was like, my family is here. Everybody's here. Everybody's happy. Everybody's together. I think she really liked that piece. That everybody was at least enjoying themselves and they were all in the same place. Everybody was safe. You didn't have to worry about where nobody was at. We was all in the attic playing 007 all throughout the night. Now this next one I'm going to show, a lot of people, it kind of went under the radar. Some people may not even, probably never heard this game. But this next one, it came out shortly after 007. And when it came out, it gave us some of the same elements. We started playing with our cousins. They were coming over to the house. It was like, yo, we about to do this whole competition. We had brackets, like who the best 007 player, who the best, basically it's first person shooters. So we going into the battles. We going into the competitions. So this game right here, I don't think a lot of people heard this one. It's called Perfect Dark. It's old school. I went into the vault for these pictures. I was on Facebook or Google Images, but I was in the vault looking for these pictures. So, Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was one of those games also where it was like, man, it was different. It brought like an alien feel to things. You could still do the 4-player split screen, playing against your friends, your cousins that come over. It was just a good game to talk trash about, and we had a good time. So that's Nintendo 64 and Nintendo. Just kind of going through a little blast from the past. Coming forward, though. Next up, on the list, we get into the Super Nintendo games. And I only got a couple games out of each of these categories. So next on the list, Super Nintendo. I think coming in at number 1 as my favorite Super Nintendo game had to be Super Mario World. Because I feel like this is the first entry into making a role-playing game, making an RPG, making an open world game. And Super Mario World, for me, it was so dope. It was just one of those games where it's like, you know what? We got Yoshi throughout the whole game. You can fly with them, eating stuff. Like, I was watching last night when we went to the movies and saw Super Mario Galaxy. I was just like, dang, man, this stuff has come so far. And I've always heard people say, oh, man, y'all, you're a gamer, you do this, or y'all need to get off that game. My mom used to be big on that. You need to get off that game and go outside and touch grass. And I got it. We're going to get into that conversation here in a second. But Super Mario World, I miss you. I miss you, Super Mario World. What about this one? Donkey Kong Country. Another banger. Another classic. This growing up right here, man. Another banger. I think what I love most about Donkey Kong Country was not even Kong. It was that his son was in the game. What's his name? Diddy? I think Diddy Kong. That's a terrible name now. But but yeah, the fact that Diddy, I think his name was Diddy Kong, um, or his son was in the game, it made it so epic, man, because it was like father son out here running through these little levels and eating bananas and grabbing freaking, riding rhinos, as you can see in the picture. The game was lit. Donkey Kong Country was a lit game. And moving forward, I'm just going through some games. This game right here was the next iteration of bringing the cousins back together. We went from shooting each other in 007. We went from shooting each other in Perfect Dark to now we racing. Whole different type of game. Whole different type of game. It was like now we getting in these carts and Mario Kart drops. Super Mario Kart, Nintendo 64. It came out on a couple different platforms, but Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, I believe. And if y'all play, I mean, I'm sure most of the folks I know played this, but who was your favorite character? Who was your favorite driver? When you got behind the cart, who was your driver? I was talking to my homeboy before I started this live, and he said his favorite driver was Peach. No, I'm sorry, no, Toad. He said Toad. He said he had the speed, but he couldn't manhandle nobody on the track because Bowser come through, he just bumping everybody out the way. But he was slow. I couldn't win. I actually tried to play Super Mario Kart as Bowser and to see if I could win first place with Bowser or Kong. I can't even do it. Them dudes are so slow. My favorite person in this was Peach. I was a Peach player. Every game, I was picking Princess Peach. I think she had the speed. I think she was just the most well-balanced driver on Super Mario Kart. She was insane. All right, so moving forward. Let's bring it forward some more. Now we're moving over to the Sega Genesis, which I kind of did that out of order. Probably should have done Sega before Super Nintendo, but it's all good. But on the Sega Genesis, we had this nostalgic picture right here. Trip down memory lane. Hey, video games weren't bad around this time. We got Sonic 2. Again, another amazing game. What I loved about this game so much is we got Tails. When we got Sonic and Tails in the same video game, I was like, we cooking. And I think Sonic 3 brought Knuckles. Then when we got Knuckles, I was like, oh yeah, like this is... At this moment of gaming, I honestly felt in my head with the Sega Genesis, I was like, this is the highest video gaming will ever go. Like the graphics felt like, we were just like, oh my gosh, like, look at the graphics. Like everything was just, nothing could surpass what we were looking at at this time. Sonic 2, and there's a lot of honorable mentions. One of my big honorable mentions around this time period was Mega Man. I don't know if y'all remember Mega Man. I played Contra growing up. I played, what else was it? Outside of fighting games, I'm trying to think. Metroid. That was another one. That was another Sega classic. Yeah, that was a Sega classic. Metroid. Altered Beast. If somebody knows what Altered Beast is, y'all old. That's it. If you know what Altered Beast is, you old. That game was crazy. All right, so moving forward. Now we're getting into some heavy hitters. Now we getting into the weight of this podcast. This game right here, this next one I'm gonna talk about for a second, is a classic for the whole community, the whole gaming community. If you're a sports player, there's nothing that could be said to give this game enough credit for the run that it was on. And I say the run that it was on is because it fell off so bad. It's so bad now. I'm hanging in there. I got the new. I actually have every single Madden that was ever made, I think. But I was just having this conversation. I was like, man, Madden. Actually, I'm gonna blow this up some more. Give me a second. Oops. I'm gonna blow this picture up a little bit more. The reason I'm blowing this picture up a little bit more on this one is because I actually found a picture that had every Madden cover all the way up until 2022. But I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me slide over just a little bit. The Madden that was giving people hell was right here. 2004, 2005. Hold on 1 second. Let me let my son in the house. He forgot his key. Give me 1 second. Hold on, I got a little stream thing for that intermission. All right, I'm back. So, Madden. My bad. Let my son in real quick. So, yeah, 2004. Michael Vick, game breaker. 2005. Ray Lewis, one of the best Maddens by popular demand. A lot of people think that, and it just got crazy after that. So, what did Madden teach us? I have seen Madden fights. I've seen competition and trash talk go for years. I've seen a franchise mode bring friends together that haven't talked in forever. Being able to play the game, pick your favorite team, being a linked franchise with other players. Madden became a staple in the barbershops. I used to go to a lot of barbershops where when I used to go to the barbershop back in the day, you'll see the OGs be playing chess and checkers. So they sitting down, people waiting on haircuts, people playing chess, people playing checkers, something brain stimulating. 2026, you go into a barbershop, till this day, there's a high chance that you might see a PlayStation or an Xbox. And in the downtime, the barbers may be playing each other in the game, talking trash, keeping score. And it was just one of those things where it's like Madden has always been a part. Even if you wasn't the best at video games or didn't have a genre, if it was a sports genre, Madden and 2K were the apex of the sports genres. MLB The Show for baseball, it's in its own world. Nobody's making hockey except for EA. I think it's EA that makes hockey. So those games, they in their own world. But Madden and 2K, league of their own. Ran everything for years. So Madden's always going to have a special part in my heart. I just want EA. I wish EA wouldn't have the rights to always just monopolize this and make it and actually hold on a second. There we go. Let me pull that down. So let me pull that off. So that was Madden. But I'm hoping that they like get something going to where other people can make video games instead of just EA, because it's getting annoying. Next up on the list is our last 5 games right here. Next up on the list, we got Twisted Metal. And if y'all notice, the games I'm naming, I haven't said Mortal Kombat, I haven't said Street Fighter, not bad games. I haven't listed any horror games. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But Twisted Metal was another banger because not only is it a great game, but it still allowed for that competitive nature to play against friends and family. So it was another one of those games where it brought the family together. And when I say family, I mean my cousins. So this is back at grandma's house. This is going back into the attic. This is a whole new game, a whole new monster. We went from 007 to shooting at each other. Then we switched it around off of shooting at each other to going into Madden competitions, sports competitions. We had our fun with that. We get into Super Mario Kart. We're racing each other. We're having our fun with that. And what we notice is everything is built off of bragging rights. Who's the best at something? And then Twisted Metal comes out, and this is a whole nother monster. Now we in basically a derby. Souped up vehicles that are retrofitted with different guns and everything else on them. And we out here trying to blow each other up on Twisted Metal. Let me unlock this real quick so y'all can see a better picture. Lots of different Twisted Metal games also. And if y'all have not seen the Twisted Metal series that has been showing on, I want to say it plays on Peacock, if I'm not mistaken, it's fire. it really captures that nostalgic moment of playing Twisted Metal growing up. So yeah, Twisted Metal was dope, man. Twisted Metal. All right, so these next four are my heavy hitters for me. These next four in the gaming community are games that completely help me. And when I say help me, after I get done with these 5 games, then I'm gonna get into really the apex of this conversation. But these next 5 are the ones that set me down. These are the ones that if I wanted to go out on the weekend and my friends was about to be out doing some stupid stuff, I was so excited to go home. I was like, nah, I'm good. And man, what you got going on, man? Look, hey, this game just dropped. I'm be in the house. Here we go. We starting right here. Zelda. Now, I was a little younger for this one, so I wasn't doing nothing too crazy at this time. But that's Ocarina of Time. Zelda dropped. I dropped everything. I ain't want to do the paper route when I was young. I was ready to go sit in front of my screen on the Nintendo 64 and dive into Zelda. It is like that till this day. I got the Nintendo Switch now. I've been playing Breath of the Wild. I'm on the second one. Zelda is amazing. That's about the best thing I can say. Zelda is absolutely amazing. It has grown on us so much. Zelda, 100% super dope game. In this same wheelhouse of games, in this wheelhouse, I'm going to say Final Fantasy. So I'm going to blow this one up. Get through these last 2. And I put my favorite one. So this Final Fantasy X was my favorite Final Fantasy. And I haven't played all of them by far, but that was my favorite one growing up. So Final Fantasy. For me, this is where, and actually this is a good moment right here. So for me, Final Fantasy X was when I really realized the artistry in video games. I know it took me a long time, but because this is on PlayStation 2. So Final Fantasy X is when I really noticed the artistry of video games. And I mean, starting a game and you're just like, damn, this game is beautiful. Like you're looking at the water, the colors, the storyline. I was like, yo, this is a dope game. So I was going back to school and, just playing this game and people be asking me about the game. I'm like, yo, Final Fantasy, it's on another level. But I didn't know what it was about the game. And that's when I started getting that bug of maybe it wasn't me just playing video games that had me kind of addicted to video games. It was more so the artistry, the storytelling, the graphics, the visual arts, the sound. I really started appreciating games at a higher level, opposed from just, we're just playing a game with my friends. Now I started really looking into the design of the games. I started feeling like having a controller in your hand. I was like, this is something different. Like this is way different than what I'm used to playing when it comes to video games. And then we got Final Fantasy. Let me close that out. Another heavy hitter around that same time as of Zelda was this game right here. Hey, I can grab it. Called Fable. This was called Fable. Fable was super dope because it felt like Zelda. Here we go. I'm messing these boxes all the way up. But the reason I like Fable is because it felt like Zelda, but with way more control. And what I mean by that is like it added something to gaming that we had never seen. And that was your actions depict the game flow. If you are a good person, throughout the whole game, good things would happen. You go into different towns, people will help you out. People will be nice to you. But as you can see in the picture, he's looking at an evil version of himself. You can also be evil in the game and just be on this dark side path. And that's where you go into villages and they're locking the doors. Like you can just go into this real dark realm. So it really gave that duality when people were playing. And I think people got to realize video games is an escape. So when you are looking at, or when you're playing this game, it really lets you be the good guy or the bad guy. And I think that's what people fell in love with because it's like, man, I'm playing this game, but I just want to be bad. I want to be bad with no consequences. So I'm gonna run through the rest of this game as the evil villain. And now you run through the game and you're just a menace pretty much the whole game. Or you can not do that come over to the good side, and you can run through the whole game as a good guy. So now your whole playthrough is, it's not gonna say the game is not harder. The game was still pretty challenging, but you just had a different storyline, a different path. And then the last one, this game here, man. I don't know what box I got right here. Okay, oh, I see what I did. There we go. This game right here has been insanely good for an insanely amount of time, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5. The fact that this game is still getting the play that it's getting today, is still as good as it is when it first came out, all the free updates that is ran, and just how amazing this game is. Now, this is a story I want to talk about on this game. People always say, or the question is, are video games bad for people? I 100% believe that you can learn things from video games, and I mean important things. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto for the first time. This is my first playthrough. So I'm playing the game, and I get to a mission where it says, pretty much to kind of summarize the mission, it wanted you to blow up this building that was a fake, it was like a fake Apple store. You know, GTA does all the play off of different things. So basically it was iRadio. So it was like an Apple radio station. And they wanted you to pretty much do a mission where you blew up the radio station. But I had, one of my friends told me, he's like, hey, in the game, there's a stock market. And that radio station is on the stock market. He's like, so a good way to make money in the game is when you blow up the radio station. He's like, check the stock before you blow up the radio station. So I checked the stock, and now mind you, at this point when this game first dropped, I didn't have my investment license. I knew nothing about the stock market outside that I knew that you can invest something, but that's all I knew. I didn't know nothing about the stock market. So I'm in GTA, and I'm looking at the stock, and I'm trying to understand what these red lines mean, what's up, what's down. But the very basics was buy low, sell high. So I'm looking at the stock of this radio station inside the game, and I see the price. And he was like, just write the price down. He said, then do the mission and then look at the price. So I write the price down. Let's say, just for the sake of the podcast, let's say it's $65 a share for the stock. I do the mission. You blow up the radio station or whatever. You cause all this drama with the radio station. The stock plummets. So now you go check the stock, and it's like super duper cheap. I'm talking about like $1, $2 a share, because the whole radio station is pretty much jacked up. So he was like, spend all your GTA money and buy all the stock, all the shares you could buy. So I did it. And then in the game, a few weeks, I guess game weeks later, the radio station gets rebuilt and the stock goes back through the roof. So now my player is completely broke. But when I look at my stock portfolio on my player, it is like millions of dollars. So of course I sell all my shares, and instantly my GTA character is a multimillionaire. That was the first game that taught me how the stock market worked. That really showed me, like, in real time, buy low, sell high. Wait for something to dip, buy it if you can't afford it, wait for it to come back, hold it until, it comes back up, and then sell it. Now, being a tax preparer, being investment license and all those things, I understand short-term capital gains, long-term capital gains, how that affects you and things like that. But it's still the same principles. It's like, man, like right now, and this is not to give anybody advice on a public platform, but we're in a down market. The market's down. And I always tell people, I was like, do you go shopping at the grocery store when all the groceries are on sale? Or do you go shopping when the grocery store is through the roof? And most people say I go shopping when everything's on sale. All right, so apply that same principle when you see the market drop. That's the time to start actually talking to financial advisors and looking into how you could capitalize in a down market. So that's my little rant on that. GTA did teach me how to, it gave me that bug to want to be a financial advisor, to actually want to get my investment license, to be able to do that for other families. And I was like, yo, this is dope, like learning about finance. So that is what really catapulted me into wanting to get my investment license as well and go into finance at a higher level, was actually playing video games. I played another video game called Red Dead Redemption, learn how to play poker. So when people are like, oh man, video games is bad, video games is this, video games is that, I'm like, oh wait, pump the brakes. Because I learned some skills inside of video games that I was able to apply in real life and make a lot of money based off of skills that I learned inside of a video game. So now it's like, okay, it's not all bad, in my opinion. I was like, it's not all bad. So let me close this up right here, and then let's have a discussion about this. So, a couple little things I remember growing up, playing video games. Y'all ever did the fake trick when your little cousins wanted to play the video game with you? So you act like you plugged the controller in, and they sitting beside you, just going crazy, and you sitting there yelling like you playing against them, knowing dang well they ain't playing. Those are memories, man. Those are memories. I remember that with my little cousins. I was like, oh yeah, they thought they was doing something. I was over here tearing their butt up, but we weren't even playing the game against each other. But when I say gaming kept me in the house, growing up, I told you, my Atlanta story. One of the things that kind of kept me from just always being outside, always being in the streets and stuff like that, especially with the friends I had, which I had great friends. They wasn't trying to really, put me in trouble or nothing like that. But it was just like one of the things that really helped me was like, let me just play the game. Like, I want to go home and play the game. What you doing this weekend? Man, I just bought this new game. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna play this game this weekend. So a lot of my childhood, I guess, even going through high school and even in college, a lot of times I didn't want to be outside. A lot of times I was like, nah, I'm chilling. I just want to go home and I'll probably just hop on the game. And then when we got into having my headsets around here somewhere, but we got into headsets and being able to be in parties now where we could save friends and friends list and start meeting people, not only here but overseas. It started expanding to the point where it was like, man, this is like a great mental escape for me. When life is hard and you stressed out, you just go home. And the point is to play the game and not be stressed out. But if you're a gamer, you understand there's some games out here that you can come home and be 10 times more pissed off after you hop on the game, depending on what you're playing. So 2K, Call of Duty, some of the games will stress you out either way. But it was one of those things where for me, it just kind of kept me in the house. And then I was like, you know what? Looking at gaming now, I kind of wish I would have stayed on the path I was on. When I say being an avid gamer, gaming every day, especially now with streaming and platforms and seeing people now with full-time jobs and they're on TikTok live, they're just playing Fortnite all day or all the different games that are out. They're just streaming and they have a whole core audience and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in ad revenue and everything else. And they're just sitting at home doing something they love to do. So a lot of people are like, man, where do you see yourself in 5 years? For me, I tell people all the time, I was like, I want to create. That's one of the biggest things I want to do. I want to continue to create, make content. And I know for me to do that, I'm going to have to restructure some things in my life. So right now, my main focus right now, especially having multiple businesses, is automation. I want to put things into a way that I can be hands off and all the operations continue to run. Income continues to come in. So I'm in the process of automating a lot of things with my businesses. This year I'll be buying a PC for the first time. So I am going to buy a PC and I'm going to be using that PC for work. And that's what I'm going to call it. That PC is going to be what I'm going to use to run the podcast and podcasts like this. It's going to be also what I use to be able to stream and to go live. And create content. It's going to be my editing tool, my software for editing videos and putting out YouTube shorts and content. I'll be adding photography into the bag a little bit. I'm not trying to be a full photographer. I did have fun going out with my son and shooting a football game, but I don't think I want to be a full photographer, but a little bit of videography, the basics to where I can still shoot my own content, make my own videos. I want to be able to put content out into the marketplace, but meaningful content. I want things that make people laugh, make people have a good time, make people heal. A little content with a purpose, and just continue to grow my brand in that area. So I did get a taste of this already. I had an opportunity to work for a company called Playtest. Playtest Cloud is what it was called. And I was actually paid to play video games. And that was my first time getting a chance to really dive into getting paid to play. And it was cool because at first I was like, I don't know if I want to get paid to play games, because now it's taking a hobby and something I use as a mental escape, and it's putting a price tag on it to where now I feel like I'm going to work. But The way this company worked, it was totally different. What they were testing out was games for your phone, for your app market. And what they would do is, as a personnel on Playtest Cloud, they would send me a text message and say, "Hey, we have a new playtest. If you'd like to do this offer," and I would look at the offer, and the offers were like it'd be like $15 for 30 minutes of your time. So I'm like, okay, what is it? So I look at the offer. It's $15 to play a game for 30 minutes, a game that's in beta. They send the private link to your phone. You download the game through this beta test software, and you put your headphones on and your earpieces and everything, and you play the game for about 30 minutes. Now, only thing to get paid. This is the only requirement they wanted. They just wanted you to play the game and talk about everything you see, everything you're doing. Talk as if you're reviewing the game. So I would literally sit there and play the game. I said, okay, this loading time is a little bit slow. Oh, here we go. We're finally loaded in. This is the name of the game. Let's see what this game's all about. Let's see. And they basically said the first things that come to mind that catch your attention, that surprise you, that you appreciate, that you don't appreciate about the game, they said just talk. Talk the whole time you're playing. So for 30 minutes, sometimes I just duck off in my closet, throw my headphones in, and play a game for 30 minutes and just talk. It didn't record us visually. All it recorded was our gameplay and our voice. And then it would send it back to the playtest administrators, and then they would approve your commission. So my PayPal would just get hit for $15. Now, mind you, you can actually make pretty decent money because that was like 30 minutes of my time, made $15. At that time, if you was making $15 an hour, you were winning. So these playtests were coming in consistently. Hey, we have another game, another game. So I could have really just pulled them back to back. So what I would do, I would pull maybe 3 or 4 a month, make a quick $100, and that was just gas money or whatever I wanted to use that $100 for. It was just some extra money. So that was my first like little, I guess, sticking my foot in the door when it comes to getting paid to play video games. Was working with Playtest Cloud. So super dope. So now fast forward into the question. Are video games bad for people? And I look back, and me and my buddies, we joke about this, and we like, dude, as long as we've been playing GTA, as long as we've been playing violent video games, I've never in my head thought, oh, I'm about to go outside and carjack somebody. I'm about to go outside and do the same thing. So when all this stuff was happening now in America, and we had these mass incidents, and make sure I use the words correctly on this topic, people want something to blame. We talk about gun control. We talked about access to video games. We talk about access to mental health therapy and different things like that. So it's all these parameters they want to group something in, or they want to blame somebody. Somebody needs to be blamed for what's going on right now. And then when video games came up, I was like, why they coming after us? Like, we ain't do nothing. We over here. We in the house for the most part. But I can see how it could happen as well. I can say, I guess, some of the negative pieces to video games I've seen, and this is social media too. Man, I've seen some people crash out. I've seen spouses break they partners' systems. I've seen one lady, I think this dude had a 2K build. He was playing NBA 2K. He was a huge streamer. Making buku money. Penthouse out in Florida, him and his girl. I want to say they got a kid as well. And Buddy was making bread streaming NBA 2K. And I think his spouse I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend, but she turned his game on and she deleted his builds. So if you know what 2K is, that's his created characters. She deleted all his 99 overall created characters. Now, that wasn't a joke for the gaming community. And it was so wild reading the comments because people was like, oh, you need to grow up. You're a grown man playing the game. You need to grow up. And I was like, I kind of hear what you're saying, but that was that dude's job. Like, the penthouse they in is paid for by YouTube and social media revenue from the content he creates for playing a video game. So you literally just deleted that man's job. If you want to peel it back, because guess what? Now that he has to redo those builds, which some people may say, well, that's content too. It ain't the same. It is not the same. Now that you got to redo all that, ad revenue drops, your followers drop, the money start rolling in, and that penthouse that's 12 grand a month, 13 grand a month down in Miami, now it starts getting expensive. When you were making 100K, 200K a month, Now you got this penthouse where you like, we have to close this thing down. So he crashed out on her. So I think when people say gaming is bad, I think they look at all the worst case incidents, and that's one of them. It's the disconnection from your spouse, or if you're in a game and you got an attitude, or someone trying to pull you away from the game, or you just never want to get pulled away from the game. I can personally play games 12, 15 hours straight. I can literally sit in my desk the whole day and just play video games, different games, switching out. But I'm also having conversations with people. Um, Met some people in Wales. I feel like we know each other, long as we've been friends on PlayStation, and the relationship that you build. So the good side of it is, okay, yeah, you can build some lasting relationships, and from a mental standpoint, it's a disconnection from reality. That's the same thing with virtual reality. It's like, man, I want to skydive. I can go get a virtual reality set and feel like I just jumped out of a helicopter. So it's giving you that moment to say, I can be what I want to be, who I want to be, where I want to be, and it gives you this dopamine of excitement that it gives you, to where you're like almost addicted to it. And most people say, well, that's what it is. It's dopamine induced, so it's an addiction. I say, yeah, it is. It is a low, it's a low dose addiction, but there's also some other addictions. It could be, let's just turn the game off, and then you sit around the house bored, and then you say, you know what, I'm going out. And now you're in the club every Friday, Saturday. Then come with the club life, you end up start drinking a lot or in excess. And then drinking, once that numb goes away, you start smoking. And then you just keep piling on after that. Heavier drugs, everything else. It could be a slippery slope for most people who are just looking for something to do to just put their mind at ease. And then the other side of it with the gaming industry, the bad. I want to talk on both sides. I have seen disconnection though. I don't think some people know how to have or meet people or have any type of relationship with anybody, just when it comes to communication. I've seen kids who are just like so many kids nowadays are just like introverts. But when they hop on the game, they got their whole friend group. But if you throw them outside and say, hey, go to the park and play with these kids, they don't know what to do. They don't even know how to. The first thing about stepping their foot in sand, they coming in the house still to get water when we was on a water hose. So it changes. It changes everything. Um, and that's one of the things I look at when I look at the gaming industry. I'm like, man, especially now that I know for a fact I'm going to be working in the gaming industry a little bit closer, from a review standpoint. So one of the things that I'm looking at doing now, and I was really trying to say, what do I want to do in the gaming industry? I don't mind streaming video games. I got a couple pieces. I want to get my computer first, but there's a couple things I want to do before I really dive into streaming as a platform, as a schedule. One, I'm not gonna have one of my jobs. I'm gonna start cutting back on some of the stuff I do now to give me that time to have a consistent schedule with it. Because I can see myself doing it, but it would have to be like really organized. I want everything to run smooth. There's so many streamers I follow now that I look up to where I'm like, if I did it, that's the way I would do it. If I was to come into the gaming industry and review video games, that's the way I would do it. I would do it just like that. The graphics, the cover arts, the entertainment piece of it. I'm like, yeah, that's the side I would want to be on. So for me, I put a little tester out there as we kind of wrap up. I put a tester out there on the gaming side, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna review a game I'm playing right now, and I'm just gonna put a very, very short video out on this game. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let y'all know the numbers on it right now. So I put a tester out. It just actually updated. And I just wanted to see, and I threw this on TikTok, and I wanted to see, let me do a miniature review. Let me just give my take on a game I'm playing right now. It's one of the hottest games out right now. I'm going to throw it out there and just see what happens. A little bait. I just want to see if there's even an audience for this if I was to choose to do this for real. And my average TikTok videos average between 100 to 200 views, maybe 10 likes. This video did 3,358 views in 35 hours. In less than 24 hours, it did over 3,300 views, 110 likes, 30 comments. So I was like, man, that's crazy. So then I did another video. Wow, I didn't even see this. I did another video, and I was like, what are reviews looking like to review content? So I did a quick rant about J. Cole. And that video is now over 17,000 views and 191 hours of playtime, over 2,800 likes, and 157 comments. So when I seen that, I was like, hey, I'm popping. But no, seriously, I was like, yo, all these TikTok things popped up. You've unlocked this. You can do this. You can do that. You can do this. So I had all this stuff popping up, and I was like, dang, like there may be an actual avenue in this realm for me to review, to start giving my take on different things. So that could be music, that could be video games, it could be products. And I was like, man, maybe I should go on the review side of things. You know, I can still mix my finance in there. I can still mix barbering in there because I can talk about different clippers and different products on the market when it comes to that. So when I looked at it, I was like, man, gaming, especially GTA, because it's businesses inside the game you can do too, illegal businesses, but the operations of seeing it's the same structure. You got to overhead, you got to manage costs, you got to pay employees, you got to buy product, supply and demand. You got to look at different niches in the market and see what side of the market you want to strategically place yourself on. So for me, I was like, you know what? Gaming industry is $1 billion industry. What if, just what if, I sat back and did something that I love to do, and I built an audience, and they was rocking with me, and I built a community, and I got back into it for real, for real. Like really start reviewing stuff, and really start playing live and streaming, but at the same time, still giving knowledge in areas of my expertise, finance. So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, you know what? It might be time. It might be time to show people that video games aren't so bad. That video games have kept me in the house. Video games have kept me from going to the club many nights. Video games have kept me off the street. But I think it's right now, the games that are being made today, and the access that we're giving these companies, that needs to be monitored, especially if you have kids. So a couple things as I wrap up. Number one, I do not play scary video games. I be asking, I be talking to people that say, man, you got to get this. And I'm like, what is it? Resident Evil? Nope. Listen, you would not catch me playing those scary video games. I'm too scared. I tried it. I can't do it. I've tried it multiple times. I just cannot do it. That junk be scary. I be ready to, I almost dropped my controller one time. And I was like, nah, these controllers too expensive to be playing this game. So you won't catch me playing those scary games. I will watch somebody else play scary games, but I can't do it myself. And then tips, man, for the ladies. You know, I want to give y'all some tips. If your spouse or your significant other or someone you're talking to is a gamer, if somebody's in their office or in their game room, they chilling back in their chair like this, and they playing the game, by all means, go talk to them. All means, they playing the game. They sitting back, controller in their hand. They sitting back chilling. That's an openness for conversation. If at any point when your man is playing a video game, he's talking to you, and he does this, and he sits up, and the controller's right here, and he leans forward, and his shoulders are squared to the TV, stop talking. That man is locked in. At that point, stop talking. When I say that man is locked in, something has happened in that game. I'm going to redo it because my stream just, I don't know, we about to end this because the stream is crashing. I don't know what's going on tonight. They hating on me. Again, if your man is playing the game and he leaning back, that's openness to come conversate, come talk. If your man leans forward while he's talking to you and you having a conversation and he leans forward and he squares his shoulders to the TV, and the controller's between his legs right here, he's locked in. Something just happened and shifted in that game to where he needs you to be quiet. It just got real. One or two things happen. Either he playing 2K, his team just start falling behind, or the other team hit a big shot and they tie the game up, or he's playing a survival game and he's in the top 5 people, top 10 people, and he's trying to win. At that time, the only thing you can do for that man is just cheerlead him. Sit back quiet and wait for his reaction. If he scream, you scream. If he looks sad, like, dang, man, and he whatever complaint that he throw out there, you got to repeat it back. Man, they was over there camping. All you got to do is say, man, I hate when they be doing that. They always trying to camp you. Just hype them up. Just go with the flow. So, uh, if there's a game that your guy really likes and you don't know what to get him as a little quick gift, buy him some in-game currency for whatever game he's playing. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. That's for my fellas. But all in all, man, I really think the gaming industry is not as bad as people make it seem. We want to point blame and blame something for when things aren't going a certain way, and I think the gaming industry is one of those areas that want to be pointed at as a way to say, hey, this is why kids are doing X, Y, and Z. The biggest thing I can see that the gaming industry is doing, I do believe it could desensitize you, but that's already happening. That's happening on TikTok. That's happening in America in general. It's so much stuff that's going unchecked right now that you can't even blame video games for the desensitization. These kids are on Roblox and there's pornography on Roblox. So there's so much stuff that you can't even block. So that whole part is just now we just have to have adult conversations with our kids, which is kind of sad. Or you block them off of all social platforms and they don't get exposed to it, which I think in itself that can be dangerous too, because by the time they do get exposed to the real world, it's a culture shock. It's like boom, it's all thrown on them at one time and they're super not prepared for it. So all in all, man, I would say from my perspective, I don't think video games are bad. I spend way less on video games and being in the house than I have ever going out to a club or a bar for the night. If I go out to a club or bar, 100%, that's 150, 200 bucks easily just for stepping out. You're looking at drinks, Uber if you're Ubering there or back, food, shots, whatever you're doing while you out. That's gonna be 150, 200 bucks. Average cost of a video game nowadays, $85. If the game is good, it'll last you months, 3-4 months. If it's Madden, 2K, NCAA, you got 12 months to play. That's an $86 investment that would keep you entertained for 12 months. I invest in that way before going to the club any day of the week. And be in the house safe in an environment I can control. So, all in all, I just want to say, man, for this episode of the podcast, before we get back into these more serious topics next week, is this has been an avenue of my life that's always kind of kept me grounded. Even when I'm stressed out, I'm like, you know what? Today I did, I think, 10 tax returns this morning. And then I was like, you know what? I had a couple phone calls that stressed me out. And I was like, yeah, let me just shut it down for the day. I did my work for the day. Let me go ahead and shut it down. I'm going to sit back, pour me a little drink, play some video games, reset tomorrow, go back out and attack. It's just my mental reset. Talk to some of my buddies. National championship game's on right now, so I'm about to hop over and watch that with these guys. Hop back on the microphone and see how this game goes. But all in all, I just want to say, man, I appreciate everybody for rocking with me, coming on here, learning more about me, my hobbies, my pastimes, things I'm doing right now, including playing golf, getting out there on the greens, just different things I'm doing in my life right now, and then different things that are just keeping my brain occupied while I'm going through a lot. So it's just things that I'm just like using to stay grounded while I go through different trials and tribulations of my personal life. So that's all I got for tonight, man. I just want to appreciate everybody for rocking with me. I'm about to hop over here on this national championship game and see who is about to win this game. So super excited to see how this game plays out. Y'all have a great night, and I'll catch y'all next week.